Can you change a cold, powerful man with just one look? This story will make you believe in the power of love and compassion. Ethan Blackwood, a wealthy and powerful CEO, lives in solitude and control. But when he meets Lily, a homeless girl with extraordinary psychic abilities, his life changes forever. From a man who only cared about his work, Ethan becomes a father, ready to fight to protect Lily from a cruel organization. Join us on this miraculous journey where love and sacrifice turn the impossible into reality. New York 2030, a city of glass and steel skyscrapers of brilliant dreams and frigid loneliness. And amidst it all, at the pinnacle of one of Manhattan's most powerful towers stood Ethan Blackwood. He wasn't the ruler, but he owned a large part of its streets. At 35, he was the CEO of Blackwood Industries, a multi-billion-dollar tech empire. Ethan lived in a penthouse. It wasn't just a home, but a fortress built from his own solitude and obsessions. The entire apartment was encased in crystal glass from ceiling to floor, allowing him to gaze upon the vibrant city below, but simultaneously serving as an invisible wall that separated him from everything. The furniture was arranged in perfect order, not a single speck of dust. Ethan adhered to an unshakable rule: everything must be in its correct place. This was how he controlled the outside world after his inner world had once crumbled. Tonight, a fierce blizzard unexpectedly hit, turning the city's dazzling lights into a blurry, ghostly painting. Ethan stood by the window, a glass of wine in his hand. He didn't care about the blizzard. To him, storms were a normal thing. His life from a young age had been a series of storms: the storm of his father leaving him and his mother to face poverty, the storm when his mother passed away from overwork, and the storm of solitude that he had created for himself. He had built everything on absolute control, and that control had turned him into an emotionless man. Exactly at 9 p.m., he received a message from his virtual assistant. "Mr. Ethan, the Henderson merger contract will be sent in a few minutes." He took a sip of his wine. Work, that was all he needed. And then the doorbell rang. Ethan almost dropped his glass. He frowned, looking at the security monitor. It was impossible. The building's security system had cost millions of dollars. Not a single ant could get in without his permission. The bell rang again, this time more urgently. Ethan stepped closer to the screen, and a strange sight appeared. On the infrared camera monitor, a small figure was curled up by the door. Her hair was messy. Her clothes were tattered. A child. Ethan frowned. What kind of parents would let their child wander around on a blizzard night like this? He was about to call security, but there was something in the girl's eyes on the screen that made him hesitate. It wasn't simple fear, but a profound despair. A moment later, he took a deep breath and opened the door. There was no furious screaming, nor any of the scolding he had prepared. The child standing before him was tiny, trembling in a worn, light pink dress. Dirt was caked on her face, and her dark hair was grimy. But what stunned Ethan were her eyes. Large, dark brown eyes full of a wisdom and deep sadness that were far too mature for her age. Those eyes looked straight at him, piercing through his cold exterior and reaching a place he hadn't allowed anyone to touch for a very long time. "Please," the girl whispered, her voice almost lost in the howling wind. Do you have any leftover food, sir? Just a little. I don't need much." Ethan stood frozen. A million thoughts raced through his head. How did she get up here? Who was this girl? Was this a scam? All his instincts told him to close the door, to return to his safe and orderly world. But those eyes, they made him unable to move. How did you get up here?" Ethan asked, his voice hoarse. I hid in the elevator, waited for the doorman to go to the bathroom, and then ran in really fast," the girl said, her lower lip trembling. "In rich buildings, they often throw away food that's still really good." A strange feeling rose in Ethan's chest. Not pity, but a deep sense of astonishment. This child, with all her innocence and desperation, had bypassed the security system he was most proud of. An act so audacious and desperate that it earned his respect. He took a step back, gesturing inside. "Come in, you're letting all the warmth out." Lily's eyes widened. She stepped in, her bare feet caked with mud. Ethan winced slightly, looking at the footprints etched on his perfectly polished marble floor. He led the girl into the kitchen, a modern work of art made of granite and stainless steel. "What's your name?" Ethan asked, closing the door. "Lily," she said. "Lily Chen." Ethan took a food container from the fridge truffle risotto from a fancy restaurant. The container had been in the fridge for 3 days, a meal considered a waste for a man who never ate leftovers. "This might be a bit unusual for you," he said, putting it in the microwave, "but it's all I have." "You don't have to heat it. I can eat it cold," Lily said. "Don't talk, just sit down," Ethan said, though his voice had softened. After the microwave beeped, he placed the hot bowl of risotto on the table along with a silver spoon. Lily stared at the bowl of rice, then looked up at him. "Thank you," she said, and in those 2 words, Ethan felt a lifetime of gratitude. Lily began to eat. She ate very slowly as if she were savoring the most delicious meal in the world. Watching her, a pang of guilt crept into Ethan's heart. He wasted thousands of dollars every day while a child like Lily had to go hungry. "Where are your parents?" he asked. Lily's small shoulders trembled slightly. "They're gone. A car accident 3 weeks ago. They said I was lucky to be at school. But I don't feel lucky at all." Tears began to stream down her cheeks, falling into the expensive risotto. Ethan stood there not knowing what to do. He wasn't used to these emotions. For years, he had learned to bury all his feelings so they could no longer hurt him. But watching Lily cry, something inside him cracked. "Where have you been living?" Ethan asked, his voice softer. "Everywhere. The shelters are full. Sometimes I sleep in a park or on people's steps," she said, swallowing each word. "The older kids taught me how to find unlocked basement doors." Lily's story was like a knife cutting into Ethan's conscience. He felt a strange helplessness. He could buy any company, manipulate any market, but facing a simple problem like a child's loneliness and hunger, all his power became meaningless. "You can stay here tonight," he said, the words coming out naturally. Lily looked up, her eyes wide. "Really? In your beautiful house?" "This is a penthouse," Ethan corrected mechanically, "and only for 1 night." Ethan led her to one of the guest rooms. The room was larger than a typical apartment with antique furniture worth more than a normal person's entire annual salary. Lily stood at the door, not daring to step in. "I'll make it dirty," she whispered. "I'll buy a new one," Ethan said, realizing the comfort he felt in saying that. Lily stepped inside, sitting on the edge of the bed. Her small body almost disappeared into the luxurious down comforters. "Why are you being so nice to me?" she asked, her voice full of surprise. "Most people pretend not to see me." The question hit Ethan's heart directly. Why, he didn't know either. He had spent his entire life building a defensive wall. Kindness, compassion were foreign concepts to him, but looking at Lily, he saw something that surpassed all logic. "I don't know," he answered honestly. "Go to sleep. We'll talk in the morning." As he turned to leave, Lily's small voice rang out, "Mr. Ethan, what if I have a nightmare?" Ethan turned back, seeing her small form on the large bed. His heart gave a slight pang. "Then, just wake me up," he said. "I promise." He closed the door. Standing in the hallway, Ethan felt a great change within him. This penthouse, once his sanctuary, now had a crack. The very first crack. And he realized that his life would never be the same again. The next morning, the alarm clock rang at 5 a.m. as usual, but Ethan Blackwood couldn't follow his routine. He had spent the entire night tossing and turning. His perfect room no longer seemed so perfect as the image of Lily's large, sad eyes kept appearing in his mind. He got up, checked his emails and financial reports, but his mind couldn't focus. The strange feeling from last night was still there, both unsettling and peculiar. He walked out of the bedroom, taking a deep breath. The air in the kitchen was not as sterile as usual. Instead, there was the smell of plain porridge, a dish he had never cooked in his life. He walked in, and the scene before him stunned him. Lily was standing on a stool, trying to reach for a bowl from a shelf. She looked so small and fragile in Ethan's oversized clothes. His large white shirt had become a long robe, the sleeves clumsily rolled up. "What are you doing?" Ethan asked, a hint of worry in his voice. Lily startled, and the stool wobbled. Ethan quickly stepped forward, catching her. "Are you okay?" He asked, his hand accidentally touching hers. A jolt ran through Ethan. He saw a fleeting image, a small boy sitting on a wooden chair, his eyes full of fear as his father walked out of the house with a suitcase. The image quickly disappeared, but it left a painful sensation in his heart. He quickly withdrew his hand, stepping back. Lily looked at him with frightened eyes. I'm sorry," Lily said, her voice trembling. "I just wanted to make a little porridge. My grandmother taught me. I just wanted to make a little porridge. Ethan looked at the simmering pot on the stove, then back at the girl. Her clumsiness no longer bothered him. On the contrary, he felt a little softening. You don't have to do these things, Ethan said. This isn't a shelter. Lily looked down. I know, but I'm not used to being idle. Ethan said nothing. He went to the fridge, took out some bacon and eggs. He didn't know how to cook, but he knew how to make scrambled eggs. He began to make breakfast, and Lily sat on the stool, watching him with curious eyes. You're a great cook, Lily said. I'm not, Ethan said. I just do what needs to be done. Breakfast passed in silence. Lily ate with great gusto, and Ethan sat opposite her, sipping his coffee. He was used to eating alone, but this morning's meal had a different warm feeling. After breakfast, Ethan took Lily shopping. He wasn't used to places like department stores. He usually just called his private secretary and asked her to buy things for him. But this time, he personally took Lily to a large shopping mall. Lily stood amidst rows of children's clothes, her eyes wide. She didn't ask for anything, simply walked through each aisle and caressed the soft sweaters, the beautiful dresses. Which one do you like? Ethan asked. I don't know, Lily said. I've never had so many choices. Ethan's heart ached. He remembered a time when his mother had to sew clothes for him from scraps of fabric. He had once experienced that feeling, the feeling of having nothing, and he understood Lily's fear. A sales assistant walked over, smiling professionally. Sir, can I help your daughter with anything? She's not my daughter, Ethan said mechanically. Then he stopped. He looked at Lily and a sudden thought ran through his head. Ah, yes, she needs everything. Clothes, shoes, everything a child needs. The sales assistant smiled, beginning to get clothes for Lily. She gave Lily a denim outfit and a blue sweater, and Lily put it on. She stood in front of the mirror, smiling. That smile shone like a lamp, and it melted a part of the ice in Ethan's heart. After shopping, they went to a toy store. Ethan thought Lily would choose some expensive toy, but she chose a set of watercolors, 3 books about animals, and a stuffed elephant. Why the elephant? Ethan asked. Because it looks lonely, Lily said, and Ethan's heart tightened. That night, after Lily had gone to sleep, Ethan sat alone in his study. He couldn't focus on his work. The numbers, the contracts, all became meaningless. He thought about what Lily had said. She had nothing, but she still had a kind heart. She had no parents, but she still had beautiful memories of them. Ethan looked out at New York City, and for the first time in many years, he didn't see wealth or power. He saw loneliness. He had built an empire, but he had no one to share it with. He remembered his own past when he was just a small boy. He had to fight to survive, to not be hurt by anyone. He had built a wall around his heart, and he had believed that was the only way to survive. But Lily had appeared. She had broken that wall. She was not afraid. She had touched his wounds, and she had shown him that vulnerability was not a bad thing. Ethan got up, going to Lily's room. He opened the door and saw Lily sleeping soundly. She looked so peaceful, like an angel. Ethan gently leaned down, kissing her forehead. A jolt ran through Ethan again. This time, he no longer saw painful images. He saw sweet memories, Lily laughing, Lily drawing, Lily hugging her stuffed elephant. He felt a sense of peace, a feeling he hadn't felt in a very long time. Ethan knew that his life would never be the same. Lily was not just a homeless child. She was a miracle, and she had come to change his life. The next morning, Ethan made a decision. He would adopt Lily. He didn't know how it would change his life, but he knew it was the right thing to do. He would protect Lily at all costs, and he would not let anyone hurt her. He knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but he was no longer afraid. He had a reason to fight, a reason to live. Lily had given him a purpose in life, and he would not let anyone take that away. Tôi sẽ tiếp tục dịch đoạn văn tiếp theo của bạn. Dưới đây là bản dịch cho chương 3 bóng ma trong pháo đài. After that first night, Ethan Blackwood's life was no longer a series of perfectly arranged, orderly days. Lily's presence, initially a temporary inconvenience, had become an essential part of it. Ethan, who once lived in a world of contracts and numbers, now spent his time learning about fairy tales and types of crayons. He bought her pretty dresses, shoes that fit, and a huge collection of books. The Penthouse, once a museum of loneliness, now had small fingerprints, clumsy scribbles, and the clear sound of laughter. Lily's world also changed. From a child who had to live stealthily in the shadows, she now lived in the light, ate delicious food, and slept in a soft bed. The fear was still there, but it was overshadowed by the safety that Ethan provided. Lily realized that Ethan was not just a rich man, but a kind man, even though he tried to hide it. He didn't mind bending down to tie her shoelaces or sitting for hours listening to her tell stories from books. But peace didn't last. One afternoon, Ethan was working in his room, reviewing financial reports when Lily came in. She tiptoed in, holding a math book. "Mr. Ethan," she said softly, "I can't do this problem." Ethan turned his chair around, smiling. "Another difficult math problem." He reached out and gently placed his hand on Lily's forehead to check if she had a fever. Immediately, a powerful energy surged through his hand. This time, it wasn't just fragmented memories. Ethan saw a clear and dramatic sequence of images, a company merger, a forged contract, and the face of a business rival crumbling. He saw how he had manipulated the market using unconventional tactics to achieve his goals. Both of them were stunned. Ethan quickly pulled his hand back. "What did you do?" Ethan asked, his voice filled with panic. I don't know," Lily said, her eyes wide with fear. "I just saw you tricking that person." Ethan stood up, pacing back and forth. He knew what Lily had seen. They were the darkest secrets of his career, things he had never told anyone. He looked at the girl, and a chilling thought ran through his head. Not only did Lily have psychic abilities, but her abilities were developing. At the same time, his phone vibrated. His private assistant, Sarah, was calling. "Marcus." Her voice was full of worry. "I have bad news. There's a stranger following you. He's a private detective." "What does he want?" Ethan asked. "He's asking about your personal life," Sarah said, "especially about a little girl who has appeared next to you. He has photos of the two of you shopping." Ethan felt the blood in his veins turn cold. He looked at Lily, who was curled up on the sofa like a frightened kitten. Sarah's words were a confirmation of his fear. Lily was no longer safe. Ethan had spent his life building a fortress, but he never expected that there were ghosts that could infiltrate his fortress, and they were hunting Lily. The next day, Ethan took Lily to a safer place. It was a villa in Aspen, Colorado, built to be hidden among the snow-covered mountains. This place was equipped with a state-of-the-art security system, and only Ethan knew about it. He believed no one could find them there, but he was wrong. While Ethan was arranging things in the room, Lily sat on the balcony, drawing a picture of the mountains. She suddenly stopped, her eyes closed. A sharp pain shot through her head. She saw a fleeting image, a woman with platinum hair, cold eyes talking to a man. She also saw a black helicopter flying in the sky. An entire Special Forces team was preparing to attack. Lily was startled, dropping her crayon. She ran into the room, hugging Ethan. "They're coming, Mr. Ethan. They know we're here." Ethan looked at Lily, her eyes trembling with fear, but her face was very serious. He knew Lily wasn't lying. Her ability had developed to the point where she could see the future. Ethan quickly called his assistant Sarah and asked her to investigate the woman Lily had described. Sarah found the information quickly. Her name was Dr. Evelyn Reed, a leading scientist at the Prometheus Institute, a secret organization specializing in researching children with special abilities. Dr. Reed was not a common enemy. She didn't care about money or power. She only cared about science and control. To her, children like Lily were not human beings, but specimens for research. And she had arrived. A black helicopter appeared in the sky, hovering over the villa, followed by black SUVs. Ethan felt the blood in his body boil. He had been in battles before, but this time he wasn't fighting for money. He was fighting for Lily. Lily held Ethan's hand tightly, her eyes looking straight at him. "Mr. Ethan, I won't let them hurt you." "What will you do?" Ethan asked. "I'll use my power," Lily said. "I'll protect you." Ethan looked at Lily, and he saw an extraordinary courage in her eyes. He knew that Lily was not a victim. She was a warrior. The helicopter landed in the parking lot. A team of special forces dressed in black got out holding guns. At the head was Dr. Evelyn Reed. She walked straight to the door, giving a cold smile. "Hello, Marcus Blackwood," she said. "I think we have an important discussion to have." Ethan stood there fearless. He looked at Dr. Reed, and he knew that this was not just a battle for survival. This was a battle for love, a battle to protect Lily. He would not let anyone hurt her. Ethan had found a purpose in life, and he would fight for it. The doorbell rang with a menacing sound. Ethan Blackwood gripped the hunting rifle tightly, standing in front of the fortified oak door. His heart pounded not from fear, but from a cold rage. He looked through the security monitor, facing Dr. Evelyn Reed, a woman with sharp eyes and the appearance of a scientist, but possessing the cruelty of a predator. "Hello, Marcus Blackwood." Her voice over the intercom was as cold as ice. "We don't need to make this difficult. You know why we are here. Just hand the girl over to us and everything will end peacefully." "My name is Ethan," Ethan retorted, his voice firm. "And the girl is Lily. She is not your experiment." "How regrettable," Dr. Reed said. "The girl is a valuable resource for humanity. Her psychic abilities could change the world. Whether you like it or not, she will become part of our project." Ethan's patience ran out. He turned off the intercom. Dr. Reed just smiled, giving the order to her Special Forces team. "Do it." A loud explosion echoed and the door burst open. 3 fully equipped special operatives stormed in, guns in hand. The remaining 2 stood outside, preparing to surround the villa from both sides. They were equipped with dampeners, creating a special energy field to neutralize Lily's abilities. Ethan backed away. He didn't intend to fight them head-on. This villa, with its complex corridors and modern security system, was a deadly maze. He had prepared for this battle. He activated defense mode, locking all the doors. The automated security devices were activated, turning the house into a fortress. "Lily, stay in the safe room," Ethan ordered over the walkie-talkie. "Don't come out until I return." "No," Lily's determined voice rang out through the walkie-talkie. "I can't let them hurt you." At the same time, in the safe room, Lily closed her eyes. She felt Ethan's anger, Dr. Reed's coldness, and the fear of the Special Forces soldiers. She saw chaotic images in her mind, guns pointed directly at Ethan, explosions, and flames. Lily knew what she had to do. She had learned to master her abilities, not just reading minds, but also influencing others' thoughts. Outside, Ethan had taken down 1 operative. Another fell into a trap. Dr. Reed looked at Ethan with contempt. "You can only resist for a little while. Sooner or later, you will lose." But suddenly, a voice echoed in Dr. Reed's head. Not a normal voice, but a ghostly powerful one. "You will not harm Mr. Ethan." Dr. Reed was startled. She looked around, seeing no one. She tried to resist, but the voice became stronger, going straight into her mind. It was Lily's voice. "You will not win. You will not get me." Lily's voice rang out. 1 special operative was captured. Another fell into a trap and was neutralized. Dr. Reed looked at her remaining team, and they were all stunned. She felt a powerful energy radiating from the villa. It was Lily's ability. She wasn't just reading minds. She could control them. In the safe room, Lily squeezed her eyes shut, sweat soaking her forehead. She was using all her energy to fight off the attackers. She visualized a wall of fire in her mind, preventing them from advancing. 1 special operative suddenly turned, pointing his gun at his teammate. He was trapped in his own mind, fighting the demons Lily had created. "Lily, stop!" Ethan yelled into the walkie-talkie. "You're exhausting your strength. This power can kill you." "No, Mr. Ethan," Lily said. "I can't stop. They want to hurt you, and I can't let that happen." Meanwhile, another black SUV arrived. Vincent Torres, the private detective, got out. He had followed Ethan and Lily from New York to Aspen. He saw the chaotic scene before him, and he knew that the Prometheus Institute was not a humanitarian organization. He saw Dr. Reed giving orders to the Special Forces, and he knew that she was not a scientist, but a monster. Vincent had worked for bad people before, but he had never seen an organization so brutal. He had heard stories about the Prometheus Institute, but he had never believed that they would be willing to kill a man to capture a child. He had been watching Ethan, and he had seen the change in him. He had seen how Ethan took care of Lily, how he protected her. 1 remaining operative, seeing Vincent, pointed his gun at him. "Who are you?" he asked. Vincent didn't answer. He drew his own gun, shooting the operative. Ethan, caught off guard, turned around. Vincent looked at him and nodded. "I don't work for them," Vincent said. Dr. Reed was stunned. She looked at Vincent, then at Ethan. She knew she had lost. She couldn't fight a man determined to protect a child and a private detective who had switched sides. "We will be back," Dr. Reed said, her voice trembling. "And next time, we will not fail." She ordered the remaining special forces to retreat. Vincent watched them, then looked at Ethan. "They won't give up," he said. Dr. Reed got what she wanted. She now knows the extent of Lily's power. Ethan looked at Lily, who was lying unconscious on the floor. He hugged her, his heart pounding. He knew that this battle had only just begun. Dr. Reed knew the extent of Lily's power, and she would return. And next time, she would not be alone. After the battle on the mountaintop, the Aspen Villa became a battlefield of both physical and mental wounds. Ethan bandaged his hand, his gaze never leaving Lily, who lay unconscious on the bed. She was exhausted. For the first time, Ethan witnessed the terrifying power Lily possessed, and he also understood the price she had to pay. A fear crept into his heart. He wasn't afraid of the attackers. He was afraid that Lily's power would destroy her. When Lily woke up, she looked at Ethan with eyes full of worry. "Are they gone, Mr. Ethan?" "They're gone," Ethan said. "Are you okay?" Lily nodded, but her small body was still trembling. "I'm sorry I didn't listen to you." "It's okay," Ethan said, gently stroking her hair. "You saved us. You were very brave." Lily smiled faintly, but the smile was full of sadness. "I didn't want to hurt them. I just wanted them to leave." Ethan hugged Lily, feeling the trembling in her body. He knew that Lily was not a weapon. She was a human being, and she was enduring undeserved pain. After Lily had recovered, Ethan made a bold decision. Instead of continuing to flee, he would go on the offensive. He would expose the Prometheus Institute and all the other organizations hunting children with special abilities. He would use all of Blackwood Industries' resources and his vast network of information to uncover the truth. "Mr. Ethan," Lily said, "I can help you." Ethan looked at her. "You've helped enough." "No," Lily said firmly. "You can't do this alone. I can feel them, the other children. They are being held somewhere. They are very scared." Lily closed her eyes. Ethan could feel a powerful energy radiating from her. She was trying to connect with the other children across space and time. "I see. A gray building in the desert. There are many laboratories and many children." Ethan knew this information was priceless. He began to contact Vincent Torres, the man who had helped him in the battle in Aspen. Vincent agreed to cooperate. He had once worked for bad people, and he knew the dark secrets of the underworld. "The Prometheus Institute is not our only enemy," Vincent said over the phone. "Dr. Reed is just a pawn. Behind her is a larger, more brutal organization. They don't want to study them. They want to turn children like Lily into weapons." Ethan felt the blood in his veins boil. He was ready for a fight, a battle of unequal odds, but he was no longer alone. He had Lily, and he would fight for all the other children. Lily became a beacon of hope. Every day she spent time connecting with the other children. She felt their fear and their pain, but she also gave them hope. "Don't be afraid," she whispered. "Someone is coming to save you." The information Lily brought back helped Ethan pinpoint the locations of the secret facilities. They were scattered across the United States, mostly in remote desert areas. Ethan developed a detailed plan using his network to gather more evidence, from illegal financial transactions, missing children's records, to leaked classified documents. One night, Lily couldn't sleep. She came to Ethan's study where he was sitting in front of his computer, his face tired. "Mr. Ethan," Lily said, "I can't sleep." Ethan turned around. "What's wrong?" "I saw something very bad," Lily said, her voice trembling. "There's a boy. They are injecting him with something. He is in so much pain." Ethan felt his heart tighten. He knew that what Lily was seeing was the truth. "We have to do something, Mr. Ethan," Lily said, her eyes full of tears. "We can't wait any longer." Ethan looked at his computer screen, looking at the faces of the children who had been taken. He knew that with every passing minute, they were enduring more pain. "Then we won't wait any longer," Ethan said. "We will act." Ethan held an emergency meeting with his team. He revealed the entire story about Lily and the Prometheus Institute. At first, everyone was surprised. Some were even skeptical, but when Ethan presented the evidence he had collected, they all believed him. They had worked for Ethan. They knew he was a trustworthy person. Ethan told them, "This is not a job. This is a mission. We will do the right thing." And they did. Ethan used the full power of Blackwood Industries, from top hackers to media experts, to prepare for an attack on the heart of the Prometheus Institute. "We need one thing," Vincent said. "An undeniable piece of evidence, something the whole world can see." Lily closed her eyes. She had found the answer. She could connect with all the kidnapped children, and she could broadcast their memories to the whole world. "I can do it," Lily said. "I can show them what happened." Ethan looked at Lily, feeling a tremendous sense of pride. She was no longer a frightened child. She had become a brave person, a leader. They made a detailed plan. Ethan and Vincent would attack the heart of the Prometheus Institute, and Lily would be the one to broadcast. The three of them would fight alone against a large and powerful organization. They knew they could fail, but they were ready. They had found a reason to fight, a reason to live, and that reason was the innocent children held captive in a living hell. The night in the Nevada desert was cold and quiet. The whole space seemed to hold only the sound of the wind whistling through the rocks. However deep underground, a battle was underway. This was the headquarters of the secret organization, a place that held dozens of children with special abilities, and it was also where Ethan and Vincent planned their assault. "Everything's ready," Vincent said, his voice low over the comms. "We'll attack from the east. I'll divert the defense forces. You and Lily will infiltrate from the west." "Copy that," Ethan replied, gripping the silenced pistol in his hand. He turned to Lily, who was standing beside him. Her face was serious, no longer holding the innocence she once had. "Lily, are you sure this will be very dangerous?" "I'm sure," Lily said, her voice small but full of determination. "I'm ready." They entered the interior area, a tight space with concrete walls and steel doors. The air was cold, with a faint smell of metal and disinfectant. Vincent's voice over the comms confirmed he had successfully drawn the defense force's attention. Ethan and Lily infiltrated through an underground passage, a route Ethan had planned in advance. "We're inside," Ethan whispered into the comms. "I'll stay in touch." They crept through the empty corridors, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Lily went first, her eyes closed, using her psychic abilities to locate security cameras and guards. She didn't need to see. She could feel everything. "There are 3 soldiers ahead, 2 on the right, 1 on the left," she whispered. "They're talking about a girl named Sarah who's held in room number 7. Ethan nodded, signaling to Lily. He dealt with each soldier swiftly and cleanly, using the skills he had learned in the military. He was no longer a billionaire who only knew numbers. He had become a man determined to protect his daughter. They continued to move deeper inside. The further they went, the more fear and pain Lily felt. "Mr. Ethan," she said, her voice filled with tears, "I can feel them. They are in so much pain. They are being injected with drugs. They are being experimented on." Ethan hugged Lily, reassuring her. "It's okay, Lily. We will rescue them. I promise." They reached a large room. It was a laboratory. Dozens of large glass cages were lined up along the room. In each cage was a child held captive. Some boys and girls were crying and pleading. Others were unconscious, their bodies covered in wounds. Lily collapsed, her eyes wide. She could feel their fear and pain, a horrific pain she had never felt before. She sobbed, and Ethan held her. "We'll rescue them, Lily," Ethan said. "We'll let the whole world know the truth." He took a small device from his pocket, a broadcasting device he had custom designed. This device would transmit Lily's signal to every television channel and social media platform globally. "Are you ready, Lily?" Ethan asked. Lily nodded. She closed her eyes, gathering all her strength. A powerful energy radiated from her small body. Ethan could feel it, a warm but mighty energy. At the same time, on the screens of every television channel and social media platform around the world, a video unexpectedly appeared. It was an image of Lily lying unconscious, being injected with drugs. It was an image of the other children held captive in the glass cages. It was an image of the black-clad soldiers laughing and talking about turning these children into weapons. The whole world was stunned. Major news channels, journalists, and politicians all spoke out. They demanded that the government clarify the issue. Protests erupted everywhere. Everyone wanted to know the truth. "You did it, Lily," Ethan said, his voice trembling. "You showed the whole world the truth." "And that's not all," Lily said, her voice weak. She turned to Ethan. "I have one more thing to do." She closed her eyes, gathering all her strength again. A powerful energy radiated from her body. This time, it went straight into the mind of Daniel Shaw, the head of the secret organization. In a luxurious room in New York, Daniel Shaw was watching the news about Ethan's attack. He laughed. "It's all just a hoax. They can't do anything." But suddenly he felt a sharp pain in his head. He saw chaotic images, children crying and pleading, children being injected with drugs and experimented on. All his guilty memories, the crimes he had committed, appeared before his eyes. He collapsed, clutching his head. "No, stop, please, stop." He couldn't bear it anymore. He called a friend, a high-ranking government official. I will confess. I will tell them everything." At the same time, Ethan hugged Lily, who had collapsed from exhaustion. She had used all her strength. "You did it, Lily. You won." "Are they saved?" Lily whispered. Ethan took out his phone and checked the news. Police and the FBI had raided the secret facilities. The children had been rescued. "You saved them," Ethan said. "You saved them all." Lily smiled faintly, a smile full of relief. "So, can we go home now?" "Yes," Ethan said. "We can go home." He held Lily, and he knew that this time they would never have to run again. They had won, and they had found a family. 6 months after the battle in the Nevada desert, the world was no longer the same. The scandal of the Prometheus Institute and the secret organization had shaken governments worldwide. Those involved were arrested and put on trial. The experimental facilities were permanently shut down, and dozens of children with special abilities were returned to normal lives. In all the discussions and breaking news, the names Ethan Blackwood and Lily Chen were mentioned as silent heroes. They had changed the world. Returning to New York, Ethan was no longer a cold billionaire who lived only for his work. His life had gained something more valuable than multi-billion-dollar contracts or skyscrapers. Lily. The Penthouse, once a fortress of solitude, had now transformed into a true home. The living room was no longer perfectly pristine. Instead, there were Lily's whimsical watercolor paintings taped to the walls and books and toys scattered across the floor. Every small corner of the house bore her mark, a mark of life, of love, and of warmth. Lily started school. Ethan had found her a private school where her intelligence was respected, and the secrets of her past were kept safe. She was an excellent student, especially in science and art. She was no longer a frightened child forced to wander the streets. She had found a place where she belonged, a place where she could grow up in safety. Ethan spent more time with Lily. He took her to the park, read books with her, and watched cartoons. He had learned to bake something he never thought he would do. He had learned to listen to care and to love. Ethan had changed completely. He had become a wealthy man, but not because of money, but because he had Lily. One evening, Ethan and Lily were sitting on the sofa in the living room, watching a cartoon together. Lily rested her head on his shoulder, feeling peaceful and happy. "Mr. Ethan," she said, "are you regretful?" Ethan smiled faintly, stroking her soft hair. "Regretful about what?" "About saving me," Lily said. "Your life has changed so much. It's not perfect like it was before." Ethan hugged Lily tighter, looking out at the dazzling New York City. "I have never regretted it. My life before wasn't perfect. It was empty. You brought meaning and purpose to my life. I have learned how to love and how to live." Lily looked up at Ethan, her eyes sparkling like two crystals. "So, we are a family now, aren't we?" Ethan smiled. "That's right," he said. "We are a family." One beautiful sunny morning, Ethan took Lily to visit a new building. It was a tall skyscraper built of glass and steel. At the top of the building was a name, not Blackwood Industries, but the Lily Chen Foundation. "What is this, Dad?" Lily asked. "This is our charity," Ethan said. "We will use this foundation to help children with special abilities, the children who once had to live in fear, like you. We will protect them, and we will help them develop their abilities to do good things." Lily looked up at the building, her eyes filled with pride. She was no longer a victim. She had become a hero, a person who had inspired everyone. In Ethan's office, he had hung a picture on the wall. It wasn't a picture of famous people or billion-dollar contracts. It was a picture of him and Lily, both of them smiling. That picture reminded him of what was most important in life. Ethan and Lily's lives had completely changed. They had found a family in each other, a love that could not be replaced. Lily had found a father, a friend, a hero. Ethan had found a daughter, someone who had given his life meaning. And together they had found a purpose. They would fight together for good, and they would never be apart. In the end, it wasn't wealth or power that changed Ethan Blackwood's life, it was love. From a cold and solitary billionaire to a devoted father, his journey with Lily proves that even the hardest hearts can be softened by compassion. Together, they not only overcame personal battles, but also took on an entire organization that sought to exploit the innocent. This is a story about redemption, courage, and the transformative power of love. Thank you for watching, and if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible journeys like Ethan and Lily's.